When a thought perpetuates into an action, an experience is born. And as it is rightly said, every experience turns into a thought to make a learning. We are now going to embark upon a journey where we reflect, where we ponder, where we confront, and we adapt to become a better version of ourselves. It is time for the technical paper presentation. Woo! I would now like to call upon the dignitaries on the stage. Please put your hands together for the Executive Director of Mill Global, Miltonian C. Grahadurai, Chairman of Josh 2025, Miltonian Tushar Parak. Let us now welcome the technical paper judges. Please give it up for Miltonian Vijay Bargotra, Miltonian Arunagiri Mudliar, Miltonian Gunashekar. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of the paper is Perception, Deception and Truth. And the title of the paper is 4 Inches Apart. The author of this paper is someone for whom writing is just not about expression. It's about understanding, challenging himself, and pursuing self-discovery. He shares that the technical paper topics of Josh 2025 gave him yet another opportunity to write and reflect. He is an active Miltonian from the Kolkata chapter, having contributed as the president in 2017-18 and as the PDD head for the Break Free Convention. A thorough professional who has 27 years of experience, he currently serves as the Vice President, Strategic Partnerships at Gozo Technologies Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, with a thunderous applause, please welcome the 4-time technical paper winner from the Kolkata chapter, Miltonian Gaurav Begwani. Woo! Please, I request Miltonian Gaurav to please take a seat. A quick note before we start. Time for the technical paper presentation is 15 minutes and it will be followed by question and answers for 20 minutes only. So now, I request the writer to come at the podium and read out the paper, please.
Thank you. So can I start? Yes. All set? Everybody alive? Full of Josh? Yep. So the topic of the paper is Perception, Deception and Truth, and I have titled the paper as 4 Inches Apart. So introduction. The girl says, maybe. The boy is over the moon. Woohoo! That is his perception. The friend of the boy understands it as a deceptively polite way of saying no. The girl's truth is, maybe, if the friend of the boy is not game. Girls are so confusing. The yes means yes, no means yes, and no means no. And no means maybe, but maybe means yes, and maybe means no. But we will know better. Decoding, perception, deception, and truth. So to make sense out of abstract and faceless concepts, stories are my go-to concept delivery vehicles. A beautiful parable lent me its characters, situations, and events to unravel the subject. So here I go. A rich but stingy magician who kept thousands of sheep did not want to hire guards or risk losing them to wolves. Using his magic, he hypnotized the sheep into believing they were not sheep at all. Some thought they were lions. Others were led to believe they were tigers. And some humans or even magicians. Once they felt safe, the sheep no longer tried to escape. Day after day, the magician slaughtered a few while the rest looked on, thinking the danger was never meant for them, until in time, none were left. Perception. So, perception is how we instantly experience a thought, feeling, or desire. What feels real from inside, how it appears to us, what feels true to us. The boy perceived the girl's maybe as a yes. His friend perceived it as a no, while the sheep perceived itself as a tiger and therefore considered itself in a secure space. We often accept experiences at face value. So, at best, we may perceive ourselves as one with our true selves, without any masks or pretensions. If not, then something can feel authentic without being so. The curious part is how the experience feels entirely our own, even when it has been suggested by others or subtly and sometimes unknowingly guided by self. And this is where deception comes in. Deception need not be malicious always. Sorry, am I on the right page? Yeah. Deception need not be malicious always. It can be subtle, even unconscious, but it always pulls us. Sorry. Deception. Deception is a distortion or concealment of reality and lends unreal colors to our perception. Just as the magician in the parable hypnotized the sheep into believing they were something other than what they truly were, our minds often trick us into perceiving ourselves as something we are not. We may believe ourselves to be powerful, invincible, or superior, but in reality, we are vulnerable to the same fate as everyone else. Deception arises when someone or something influences how we see things through people, society, or even our own minds. So we think a planted idea is our own. Deception is when external influence masquerades as the self. Else, deception is the gradual persuasion to believe a lie. Deception need not be malicious always. It can be subtle, even unconscious, but it always pulls us away from the real, authentic self. Deception with pseudo-self. In our original example, the sheep under hypnosis had a counterfeit self, an identity not born out of its own nature, but one imposed upon it by the magician's manipulation. In the real world as well, we live as if under a spell, assuming pseudo-characters, exhibiting pseudo-thinking, actions, and will. We repeat ready-made opinions as our own without questioning them. We often lean on preconceived notions rather than digging into the facts. We use logic only to confirm what we already believe, rather than to discover something new. I can easily borrow from examples around me. Many of my relatives have very strong political opinions, but they essentially repeat what they read in the newspapers, hear on news channels, or what they have absorbed from family traditions. And having accepted the download, believe that this opinion is one that they have arrived at through their own thinking. In similar space, I have weather pundits, sports critics, and diet experts around every corner, repeating someone else's authoritative opinion, but believing that their opinions are a product of their own thinking. People often judge movies or events or places based on the reviews they have read or heard about them. Simply put, pseudo-thinking looks like genuine thinking on the surface. As pseudo-selves, we talk, reason, debate, but without real inquiry or independent judgment. So coming to self-deception. And I quote Andre Merlot. He says, "Man is not what he thinks he is. He is what he hides." And this is a powerful statement. Self-deception is when we trick ourselves into believing something that isn't actually true, often without realizing that we ourselves are doing it. We are both the deceiver and the deceived. We know the truth somewhere deep down, but we convince our conscious selves of a more comfortable version. We often convince ourselves to be happy in a job we secretly dislike. An acquaintance, a medical student, chose to study medicine in conformity to the family tradition, while completely repressing over the years his inner inclination towards architecture. The greatest illusion we live under is not from others, but from the false certainty of our own opinions. Deception with lies. I quote John Ruskin. He says, "The essence of lying is in deception, not in words." So whatever the motive for lying, avoid punishment, win admiration, avoid embarrassment, exert power, lies are like wishes. When people tell lies, a whole lot of the time, they are telling us what they wish were true. I am not worried about what they say. Money is not a problem. To decode their lies, all we need to do is put the words "I wish" in front of the lie, and we can get a sense of their thoughts and feelings. I wish I were not worried about what they say. I wish money was not a problem. A lie gives the illusion of an easy solution, claiming as true what we wish to be true. Deceptions create our belief. We humans are endowed with the gift of intelligence. Our intelligence wants to know. We may as well say that our intelligence is incapable of believing anything because it only wants to know everything. That is the nature of our intelligence. Therefore, when we believe in something, means we do not know it yet, and yet we believe it. We abandon our intelligence because of predominant fears or doubts and take shelter in the belief. The fear of getting slaughtered by the magician was therefore easily overcome by the sheep by conveniently believing themselves to be lions or tigers, while recognizing others as sheep and possible victims. We commit ourselves to our beliefs because we know that the truth is unknown to us. In our ignorance, we start believing because believing comes easily. We do not know who or what God is, but at the same time, we fear ignoring Him. It is an arduous task even to begin to know God. It is simpler to start believing in God as is, because anything in contrary could be discomforting or disturbing. Many believe in God, some believe in no God. Both are believers. Settled in belief, neither seeks truth. They won't question, explore, or journey inward. Instead, they remain enclosed in self-made illusions, comforting but never liberating. The essence is, if you experience it, it is truth. Believing something about it is a lie. So we come to truth. Truth, I quote Osho, and he says, truth cannot be taught, but it can be learned. And between these two sentences is the key of all understanding. So let me repeat. Truth cannot be taught, but it can be learned. Because truth is not a teaching, not a doctrine, not a theory, a philosophy, or something like that. Truth is existence. Truth is being. Nothing can be said about it. Somebody asked the Sufi mystique, Rabaya al-Adawaya, what is the difference between truth and a lie? And Rabaya said, 4 inches. Sensing bewilderment in the eyes of the questioner, she explained, the difference between the ear and the eye is the difference between the lie and the truth. The lie is all you hear from the ear. The heard is the lie. And the seen is the truth. Truth is something we must experience for ourselves, something we must see with our own eyes. Even if one has seen the truth and tells us about it, the moment he tells us, it ceases to be truth for us. For him, it was truth. For him, it came through the eyes. It was his vision. For us, it will not be our vision. It will be a borrowed thing. It will be a belief. It will be knowledge, not knowing. If it comes through the ear, and if we start believing in it, we will be believing a lie. Even a truth becomes a lie if it enters our being through the wrong door. The truth has to enter through the front door, through the eyes. Truth is a vision. One has to see it. Man's privilege. Everything in existence lives in truth. The ocean, the stars, the flowers. Only man can lie, even to himself. But this is not a weakness, it is his freedom. A rose bush has to produce roses. It cannot deceive and produce marigolds. A rose has no choice but to be a rose. Its truth is a bondage. Only man has the capacity to deceive others and even himself. Only man can choose to live in illusion or to search for truth. Only man carries the unique privilege and burden of being untrue. Freedom is his gift, but that very freedom is both a peril and a possibility. The choice to follow illusion or to deceive himself could lead to suffering and alienation from truth. To seek and live in truth would be his highest glory, his true place in existence. The Master's voice. Buddha's suggestion is, be conscious. Bring more consciousness to one's inner being and also to one's outer actions. He does not want one to create new desires, holy desires instead of unholy desires. He does not want him to become a saint as against being a sinner. He does not want him to substitute his mundane desires with sacred desires. He wants him to do something totally different, and that is his great contribution to humanity. He wants him to become conscious. Out of consciousness, a radical transformation happens. Desires disappear and peace descends. The peace of desirelessness. Man's privilege of freedom to seek and live in truth is precious. Hence, a deep awareness of each act, of each thought, of each feeling has to penetrate us until all duality is dissolved and only the pure being remains. In summary, truth is always pure, nude, alone, and there is great beauty in it because truth is the very essence of life, existence, nature. Perception is what we think is true. However, perception is often colored with distorting filters of deception. If it remains unexamined, if we are not conscious, deception persists. However, if examined consciously, truth is restored and we perceive our true nature. Thank you. So hope you got what truth is. Girls are so confusing. The yes means yes, and the no means yes, and the no means no, but no means maybe. And maybe means yes, and maybe means no. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a very engaging paper, and I'm sure there are many questions that are to be answered, for which we have some rules to be followed. Please ask a question by coming forward and talking at the microphone kept here. Introduce yourself, your name and your chapter, followed by your question. You can ask only one question. Let us ask only questions and not make any statements. So let's begin with the first question, please.
Thank you.
Before we start, can I just add a line? Time permitting. Yeah. Okay. My sincere thanks to all the judges and all the readers. You made me a winner. And also a small story. Thanks to my wife, Shweta. Before the paper reached the judges, I read it out to her. And after reading out, I just said that, is it good? Is it a winning paper? And she said, maybe. And I said, woohoo! Thank you. Please.
All right, first question, please.
Ashok Khaute from Mumbai chapter. Title is 4 inches apart, as said by Rabia.
Yep.
Lies coming from, correct me if my perception is wrong,
Right.
this is deception. Okay. So lies come from the ears and truth is what the eyes see. I don't agree with this. Because eyes are also part of the sense organ systems, 5 senses. And you can't pursue the truth through your senses. We know that. So how do you say that truth comes from the eyes?
Yeah, even I don't agree with her literally.
Huh.
But as you would know that she is perhaps the first female Sufi saint. And Sufis are what they are.
But then
So
you
don't go literally by her words. When
no,
she
you
says,
have gone by the word 4 inches apart. That's why I had to ask.
It's all symbolic. So when she says from the front door, she actually means that it has to be experiential, not literally the eyes. That's what it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm.
Yes, Pattubai.
Sure. Mayur Nayak from the Mumbai chapter. First of all, it is very difficult to write on this topic, so compliment for that. There are certain questions. You said that believing is deception. Am I right? Now, in spirituality, and even Anthony Robinson says that the starting point, Anthony Robinson, the theory of belief, starting point is belief. The faith. Faith is, so do distinction between faith and belief, number one. And number two, as Ashok says that, just rejoinder to his question, I think too much emphasis is given on seeing. But as you rightly experiencing, there are other 5 senses. In fact, it is much more than seeing. Seeing can be even deceptive. जो आंखों से देखता है वो भी सही नहीं हो सकता है तो उसका आपका क्या कहना?
Okay. I gather there are two parts,
Two parts,
right?
because she
The second
restricted
part
one
is
question.
exactly what Dr. Saab was saying. Uh, See, Sufis have a way of expressing. So don't go by the literal sense of saying that it has to be seen through the eyes. The eyes are symbolic of experiencing it. Okay. हम कहते हैं सुनी सुनाई बात. So, I mean, if it is coming through any other mode, it wouldn't be the truth. The truth is in your experience, how your your existential, your experiential cognizance is, right? So literally don't go by the senses that it is eyes or the front door. That's just a symbolic way of expressing things, right? That's the second part. The first is, I couldn't gather the words properly. Belief and faith, you said.
Yeah.
Belief and faith.
Yeah. How do you distinguish between the two?
Okay. In fact, if I could extend it, there are three words, and we use it interchangeably: belief, faith, trust. Right? So, belief is when you do not know it. Right? Belief is when you are not aware of it, and therefore you believe. And often it is guided by doubts or fears that lead you to believe it. It's easier. It comes very easily. That truth can challenge your identity, your beliefs, sorry, not beliefs. Truth can challenge your identity, your very thought about yourself. Whereas, beliefs are easy to come. I mean, truth, accepting the truth could be very costly. I mean, it could involve a lot of adjustment, a lot of cost involved, a lot of loss. Your whole gamut changes if you accept the truth. Believing comes very easily. Okay, so if somebody asks you out of fear, out of dominance, out of doubt, that you should believe in God, it comes very easily, right?
Gaurav, sorry to interrupt, but I'm reminded of Aparesh on belief and faith. You are a son of your mother. Is a matter of belief. And you are a son of your father. Is a matter of faith.
Okay. So the moot idea that I'm trying to put forward is faith is experiential. It is not about knowing or not knowing anything, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Gaurav, Sridhar from Chennai chapter.
Yes,
First
bhai.
of all, congratulations on bravely writing on a subject which I won't even touch because I don't have the confidence. I appreciate the fact that you thought it fit enough to write and then won a paper. Congratulations to you. It really deserves a cup because you have actually brought in an approach that's really admirable.
Thank you.
I just want to focus on one point. So, see, perception. The word perception is always dependent on the context. Perception is always for me. Okay, my perception is different from his perception is different from his perception. That is what perception is. That is not true. That is inherent in the definition of the word. Now, there can be a deception in it. Look, we had defined an east. Sun rises in the east. Okay, because we defined a certain direction as east, we say sun rises in the east. That's again a matter of perception. Now, that is not the truth. We all understand that. See, you are saying, in the summary, in the final paragraph, you are saying perception is often colored with distorting colors of filters of deception. If it remains unexamined, we are not conscious, deception persists. However, if examined consciously, truth is restored. Now, I have a contention on that. At least I'm not able to understand because just by examining a perception, understanding there is a deception, doesn't unearth the truth in my view. It doesn't mean one knows the truth. One only knows that there is a deception. See, I may be a very intelligent guy. I know when a girl says maybe. I know so much about girls. You may say, nobody exists who knows so much. But let's say I know. So I can then say, okay, I understand. And there are people, like stock market pundits, who know exactly how it's going to move. They make money. Does it mean they are conscious? No. They know that subject very well. So that is my very narrow point that I don't understand this last sentence, but if you are able to convince me, I'm happy to be convinced.
Okay, I presented a summary. Maybe I'll put in another summary, or maybe I'll use an example. Right? It is said that it's a story of three mirrors. So the truth stands tall, stands straight. The perception bends the glass, and the deception chooses the angle. Right? So the question that you're trying to put up is does being conscious lead you to the truth? Again,
No. So I will put it another way. I'm saying to know the truth, you have to be conscious. Yes, that's the most important thing. But one has to go beyond perception. That is my point. Deception, yes, obviously, but also beyond perception. One has to go rise above perception to know the truth.
absolutely.
That is my single point.
We are all made of perceptions. So when we are trying to unmask ourselves, to reclaim ourselves, that is the process where we perhaps try to achieve the truth. And perhaps everybody here is in the process of unmasking ourselves and trying to determine what truth is. But that truth is yours. It cannot be anybody else's.
Thanks, great.
Hi, Guru. Congratulations.
Yeah, I would like to add few things. See, the subject is very tricky: perception, deception, truth. And those of us who have been reading Gita for a long time, there are very simple examples given to us: post and the ghost, rope and the snake. Okay, I think the truth and the light which is talking about, the seeing from the front door, could be that awakening and awareness when the illusion gets shattered. Okay, as long as there is no clarity, no awakening, no awareness, the so-called illumination which we are talking about, the rope will always look like a snake. And then Upanishad says very beautifully, the superimposition is so strong that even the mightiest will find it difficult to shatter it. Okay? And sometimes when I think it myself, I ask myself, the so-called my mind, is it my own mind? That itself is a big deception. We are in the deception because the so-called the conditionings of ours which we have born with, what the writer talks about, we have believed in them. Our beliefs are so strong that we continue to live in a deceptive mode, not really trying to cross and see the real truth which we're talking about. And my take is very simple. As long as my thought and my speech and my actions are not one, I'm in a very dangerous self-deceptive mode. This is what I think we may have to go deeper into that. This is beautifully written, but it has to be experienced by each one of us in our own way. This is what I would like to say.
Yeah, let me make it much simpler. You know, there is another example given when somebody talks about Advaita, the rope and the snake. You know, in darkness, you perceive the rope as the snake. That is a deception. Now, with light, when you perceive it, then you know it is not a snake, but just a rope. Now, what is the truth here? Truth is, there never was a snake. That is what is seeing. We call enlightened people seers because it is not limited to sight alone. It is knowing what is perception, true perception, and what is deception, and the distinction between these two as the truth. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but we are running out of a little bit of time, so we'll just have the last two questions, and the rest questions can be taken on.
I'll just add my take on your topic. First of all, congratulations for the winning technical paper.
Thank you.
See, I was of the opinion that human beings are basically meaning-making machines. So as Guna and Vijay were talking about, that rope we are giving a meaning of being a snake. So we as human beings, being a meaning-making machine, we have to be always careful as to what meaning we assign to various events and situations happening in our life. So I for one believe that as evolved beings and as seekers, when we keep on giving positive meanings, that's what Apuresh used to stand for. He talks about attitude being the most important thing. It's basically, attitude is nothing but the quality and the direction of the thought process with which you approach a situation. So when you approach a situation, when you give a positive meaning to every situation, you would be able to live a more empowered life. So I for one believe that you have an innate ability for you to perceive things in a positive manner, thereby becoming an optimist and thereby being a go-getter. So perception, deception, and truth. When you look at from this perspective, that we are meaning-making machines, and we have to ensure that we always perceive things in an optimistic manner so that we can move forward. So this was one thing which I felt was required in this particular paper. Yeah.
Right, sir. In fact, there is a great quote that we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So, and unless we can go beyond thinking of what we are, we'll perhaps never be able to see who we are.
All right, next question, a little quickly
Please.
because we are out of time.
Manjunath from Bangalore chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is in deception creates our belief you have mentioned. When we believe in something means we do not know it, yet we believe. We abandon our intelligence because of predominant fears of doubts and take shelter in belief. So when we are believing something, so we always believe using our intelligence only. No?
Sorry, when we believe?
Whenever we are believing something, we do not believe without using intelligence, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you a small story of Aurobindo. Yeah, some reporter asked him that, do you believe in God? And he said, no, I don't believe in God. And that reporter was aghast. Oh, Aurobindo, he does not believe in God. Then he added, I don't believe in God. I know he is. So there is a difference between believing and knowing. You only believe when you don't know. That's the easier way out. The moment you start probing, the moment you start searching, the moment you start digging, only then you know. And that knowing is your experience. That is experiential. It is not as put by somebody or downloaded by external sources. Right.
All right, next question, please. This is the last question. We are out of time, sorry.
Greetings, sir. My name is Arvind. My question is, you have concluded that truth is something which you can conclude. There is a quote, René Descartes, dubito ergo cogito, cogito ergo sum. He concluded that the only truth is when I doubt. The fact that I am doubting is the only truth that I have. Other than that, nothing else is true. So here, in my opinion, there cannot be a concluded truth. Because the only truth is that you are in a state of doubt and investigation. That is the only truth. What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, I mean, when you say that the only truth is when I doubt, again, see, as I have been repeatedly saying, that knowing truth or moving towards truth is absolutely experiential, right? You're unmasking, you're letting go of all the deceptions or the perceptions that you may have cultivated over a period of time. And perhaps one of the ways could be that peeling the onion, that this is not. You peel it layer by layer, layer by layer, layer by layer, until...
That is my point. The peeling, the process is the truth, not the outcome. Because I'm in a state of investigation. I can doubt whether am I speaking. But I cannot doubt the fact that I am doubting that I am speaking.
But that's the process.
Yes, the
right.
process is the truth. That is what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, I need 10 seconds.
Right.
Okay?
Please.
You gave an example of magician and ships, right?
Sorry?
You gave an example of magician.
Magician, yeah.
Yeah. How different Milt and Miltonians are from that example?
How different are Miltonians?
How different Milt trainers and Miltonians from that example?
That's absolutely up to your perception, deception, and your definition.
Thank you. This question is for all of us.
All right, you can catch hold of him later and get your curiosity answered. Thank you, Miltonian Gaurav, for sharing such a thought-provoking paper. And thank you, respected dignitaries, for adding value for the paper. Let
Thank
us
you,
send
everyone.
them all with a big round of applause.
A great audience. Thank you.